Africa, and now right here in the USA. Watch us via Roku on your smart TV. Download the Millennium TV app from the App Store to stream our shows anywhere, anytime. Millennium TV.
To the viewers so they know where you're coming from far as your knowledge. And you could get into some other things.
The first portion of my knowledge is based upon my traditional expertise. Growing up on the island of Jamaica, it was customary for us to utilize the things around us for medicine. In other words, you have a little fever, you get some fever grass and you drink it as tea. You know, you have a little headache and you may use a little ginger and so on. So the natural thing was an integral part of my upkeep. Migrating to the United States, I yearned for higher education. And therein I went to universities and was able to secure the necessary credential to be here with you today.
That's great. When you was just talking about if you have a fever, you would take fever grass. These herbs are also known, have other names to them as well, right?
Lemongrass, you may say, for example. You see?
Is it the same?
Lemongrass, fever grass, different ways of it's called.
Okay.
But it's just something, it's a grass.
Right.
Right. And it grows profusely. In fact, on the island of Antigua, each year, they literally have to burn it because there is so much of it. It grows so wild. If not, it is going to take over the entire Antigua. So what they do is the government would secure individuals, a team of folks, and what they would do, they would then cut the fever grass and burn it because there's so much of it.
Maybe they should export it and do some business with it.
That's what we're saying. We're encouraging them to utilize it because it can do so much thing. You can make soap with it, for example. You can use it to wash your hair, which would be a shampoo. You can use it, again, internally to help with fever and any kind of cold and flu. So it is something that is of a variety of use, both internally as well as externally. So what we're encouraging the Antiguan government, and if you're from Antigua Barbuda, then please encourage your folks to not just waste very important medicine, because to just burn it and get rid of it when it can be then harvested and utilized for the greater community, it would be a better option.
Yeah, because I see here in America, now we know the other name. I see a ton of people in some health food stores, even online and Amazon. They're selling a lot of lemongrass which is fever grass, and to know that it's being burned and wasted, people are getting a profit for it right here in America. You know,
well, it's not an aberration. In what I mean is that it's not an exception for fever grass. There's many things that has been utilized for medicine in faraway places that is discarded, not realizing the financial benefit, and above all else, the holistic benefit that these things can cure, literally cure, because oftentimes in medicine, we are forbidden from using the word cure. However, if you have a particular ailment and you use an herb, and that particular herb enable the body to be healed, then that's a cure. But based upon modern medicine, the idea is the holistic practitioner should not use the term cure. So if you recognize the FDA, the Food and Drug Administration, they literally abhor the term being used. Nevertheless, if you realize today, there is an individual from the Kennedy clan who is then, they are seeking for him to be the leader in that regard. And one of the things that he is trying to change is the way how the United States deal with health, because the best portion of health is prevention. So you're going to want to eat right, use the right chemicals so that you don't become a victim. Because when you become a victim, it's more difficult to fix that problem. So what this guy caused now, recently, about 2 weeks ago, there is a dye that has been banned all across the world, but it has been used in food, yellow and red dye that has been in the foods in the United States. So now, suddenly, because of the uproar of this one person, it's banned.
Well, you know what gets me, Doctor, is this is what is kind of troubling to me to think that the FDA, federal under the federal government, Food and Drug Administration, who is supposed to be the professional who monitor and create policy and laws for what is allowed in food and what is not allowed, right? And for them to go and this red dye, for how many years has it been used in foods and stuff right here in America? Now, all of a sudden, they realize they want to pull it, knowing that it might have caused some people not to be alive today because of the use of it.
Because it's a known carcinogen. When we say carcinogen, folks, we are talking about things that are cancer causing. And in the United States and globally, cancer is one of the deadliest of diseases. It's the dreaded C, for example. Once somebody contracts cancer, they literally start to worry. They start to fret, realizing that their days may be numbered. Now, if you have things that is a carcinogen, why would you want then it to be prolifically used in the community? You would like to then restrict the usage or ban the usage thereof.
Now this new presidential administration and Kennedy, I know, is supposed to come in if he gets confirmed to be over the FDA, right? He has some real aggressive moves he likes to make, which is a good start, banning this red dye and so on. And he's talking about GMO foods to be removed off the market.
Because you see, these Frankenstein food, as they're often called, you remember Frankenstein?
Yes.
That is why it's labeled the Frankenstein foods, Frankenstein food, because of the problems that it causes. It literally causes the deforming of individuals. And these are known facts. So recognizing the deadly nature of these genetically modified foods, mind you, the initial idea of genetic modification may be a good idea. However, the end result is not necessarily good, because it has been shown through science that the genetically modified or the GMO food is problematic. So, for example, you have a tomato, and the tomato would be something that, you know, if you squish the tomato, it's going to break. You can't keep it too long. It will spoil. Now you have a tomato that will have animal genes in the tomato. So now someone who's a vegan or is a vegetarian go out to eat a tomato, and instead of eating a plant, they are in essence eating an animal. Because that is what the genetics does, because it modifies the gene. If you notice, today you have a lot of foods that doesn't have any seeds in it. You say, for example, watermelon, which I know that the African community generally love watermelon. And people the world over love their watermelon. Now, we are recognizing that when you go to the produce station or you go to the supermarket or the greengrocer, you will find watermelon without seeds.
And people are thinking, yeah, I see it all the time. I mean, I don't buy them, but without seeds. But people all the time are saying, oh, great, seedless watermelons. It's less of a mess. I don't have to be spitting these seeds out. So they're happy to buy it without knowing the harm of it.
Not only is it harmful, the medicinal benefits that the seed gives to you, because one of the good things about the seed, the pits, as they're often called, the pits will provide two very rare vitamins, vitamin B17 and vitamin B15. You only find them in pits. Now,
you have to chew the pit?
You have to chew the pit.
The black seeds?
The black seeds.
Wow.
I never knew that. And you will get those vitamin B17. Now, it is also known that vitamin B17 is the source for Laetrile. Laetrile is an anti-cancer formulation. Wow. So, if you have enough B17 in your system, you will develop an alkalinity in your body that will help you to fortify yourself from being a victim to cancer. Wow. So instead of getting the cancer and then trying to fix the problem, you would prevent it by introducing the B17. Case in point, there was a time not so long ago when in the United Kingdom or in England, they have a thing known as scurvy. Scurvy was a curvature of the spine, and it usually affects sailors, individual that travels the sea. Now, by research, it was recognized that what was the contributor for the scurvy? They realized that being on the ocean, these sailors were not getting enough citrus. And primarily, they lack vitamin C. So what they start to do is to give them some lime. By them getting the lime, they were now able to realize that there's no more scurvy. Today's vitamin C is the primary way how one fixes scurvy. Similarly, B17 is a primary way how you can fortify yourself from cancer.
Now, is there another way of getting that B17? You can't buy it in a pill form, right?
You can get it. It's available
in
as
pill?
A matter of fact, there's an health food store. If you're in Queens, there's an health food store on Linden Boulevard, 197 on Linden
What's
Boulevard,
the name of it?
known as Vital Health Food. You go to Vital Health Food and you will be able to get your B17 in capsule form or tablet. It's available both in tablets and capsule.
Now, is there a B vitamin that you could get with all of the B's in it?
No.
Okay.
They do not have in them B17 and B15.
Okay.
For some reason.
Yeah.
However, you should have your B complex. Even if you're taking B17 isolated, you should also take your B complex.
Additionally.
The reason being, all the B's will bind together. So in order for your body to better assimilate the B17, you will need to have the B complex.
Okay. And those B complex is good for what? For the body?
It's good for the brain. It's good for the immune system. So if you find that you have brain fog, for example, you're going to want to
concentration.
Yes, concentration.
Fogginess, yeah.
In particular individual, because many times they get beef from beef. An animal product. Many individuals who are vegan or vegetarian or is on a plant-based diet will find that they oftentimes lack the amount of B. That's why it's important for you to use the pit or the seeds of these fruits, which is what normally you would have done if you were living many years ago.
So here back to this point of knowing that now they're selling the watermelons without the pits. So they're removing the benefit out and knowingly selling us something that they know that they remove the benefit from, as far as our health and our the vitamin wise, etc.
But remember, the idea of using the watermelon, that is just an example. The same thing exists with grapes. You know how difficult it is to find an organic grape with seeds?
Yeah.
When you go to the health store and you try to find grape that is organic, you're going to be searching for a needle in the haystack.
We're going to hold it right there, Doc. Let's take a quick break, come right back and talk about these grapes. Hello, viewers in America and across the world. This is Eric Stevenson, host of the Power Talk show on Millennium News 24. Tune in every week at Sunday, 1 p.m. Eastern Time, American Time, and also on all of your iOS and Android devices. Also on Smart TV and Apple, Amazon, and worldwide through Verizon Satellite. And also worldwide through www.millenniumtvnews.com. And that's www.millenniumnews24.com. And through our social media, Millennium News. See you there. Welcome back to Millennium News 24 Power Talk Show. I'm your host, Eric Stevenson. I'm with you, and we're continuing with Dr. B here in the studio. Dr. B, you was talking about the grapes before break, and you can continue.
Yeah, like I was saying, the idea of seedless is not limited to watermelon. Grapes, for example, for you to search for organic. And why we stress organic is because it doesn't have the pesticides and the herbicide, which is another problem that you want to avoid. Yeah. However, if you yearn to have some grapes organic, we absolutely recommend seedless organic grapes. However, it's like finding a needle in a haystack, as I was saying earlier, because when you go to most of these health food stores that are supposed to be concentrating and specializing on holistic organic foods, then they're going to still give you a GMO or a seedless grape. We just can't understand it. Same thing with limes. If you go, unless you get a key lime, most of the limes, even when it's say organic limes, it doesn't have any seed in it.
Okay. So let me ask you a question. What is the purpose of them putting fruits and these things on the market with no seeds?
It's convenience, because as you stated earlier, you're eating a watermelon and the pit come in your mouth, and your instinct is to spit it out. You're going to get rid of it. And your wife don't want no seeds in her watermelon. You cut up the watermelon and give it to your queen in a bowl. Yeah, she don't want it like that. Yeah. So you now decide as the husbandman or the farmer, because that's another term for the farmer, the husbandman, incidentally. So as the husbandman, you now start to create the watermelon or the grapes without seed. So it can be convenient. However, by so doing, the nutritional content of the B17 and B15
so no longer these exists. Are grown now. They're grown without seeds.
Yes.
So they can't be in its original form.
No, it's not.
So
it's manipulated.
Yeah, so it's manipulated. Yeah. So the process of manipulation of these fruits and things that we're getting in the market, now, first of all, they're being produced without the proper nutrients of the original. the proper vitamins, etc. And they're coming out.
It's a
like
stage.
Yeah.
You see, originally we have heirloom fruits and vegetables. Heirloom means they are wildcrafted. You will find them in any bush, in any forest, anywhere on earth. Then we develop by the husbandry, as we talk about on the farming process, we start then to cross-pollinate, where we develop hybrid foods now. Hybrid foods are not natural foods, where you put two different species together to get a third species. For example, we hear that Bugs Bunny sees well, and Bugs Bunny uses a lot of carrot, and carrot is good for the eye. But they don't tell us that carrot is an hybrid. Queens and lace and daikon combined together is what makes the carrot. So here you have something that if you go into the wild, you'll not see it, because it cannot survive in nature. It only survives when you, as the husbandman, decide to put it together by cross-pollinating.
So it's not a natural creation, it's a man-made creation.
It's a man-made creation, but it grows. Yeah. See, the cow, for example, for those who are saying, no, I am being a little bit rough on the plants, the cow is another example. The cow is another cross between the ox and the buffalo. So you take the oxen, you take the buffalo, you put it together, and you end up with the modern day cow. We may be more familiar with the mule, because we should know by now that the mule consists of what? The donkey and the horse. Yeah. So when the donkey and the horse mate together, you get a third species. Yeah, but it's not natural for a donkey to procreate with a horse. Yeah. That is because of the human manipulation.
It wasn't a God created animal.
No, it's not.
It was man created. Yeah, so that makes a big difference. Also, like farm raised fish and shrimp and stuff that is on the market now. Yeah, it's all produced in a big swimming pool, and it's not out to sea, it's not out to ocean. So it's missing those natural sea salts and stuff that gives you minerals.
You know, yesterday I have a conversation with an empress, a younger empress, and we were talking about honey. And during our conversation, I enlightened her that the bee is an hybrid, the honeybee. The honeybee is not natural. I pointed out that the original honey was made with flies. She says, what? I say, yeah, the original honey was first made with flies. Now, today it's kind of hard unless you go into the deep jungles in Africa to find flies that are still making honey, because the honeybee has taken over that responsibility. Because guess what? What all the honeybee does, is go what the fly used to do, pollinate the different plants by sucking the nectar from the flowers. And when the honeybee is filled with the nectar, he vomits it up. So basically the honey is the bee vomit. But you are eating the honey or drinking the honey, but yet you say you're a vegan, not realizing that it's not the best thing for vegan, because since the bee is an insect, it would not be an appropriate food. If you are a carnivore or an omnivore that eats anything, then that's different. But if you say you're an herbivore or a vegan / vegetarian or ital person, then those are some of the things then that you would abhor.
That's interesting. I've never known that. So flies actually used to produce honey?
Flies make honey.
Does that still happen today in some place?
Yeah, you have to go deep into the
like
African
the jungle or something.
Yeah, right. Because if you take a look at...
Well, those are different flies that we see every day, right?
Yes, different flies. But you take a look at, here is some flies that come out of carcasses. And you see them flying around, and you see they have that little shiny look on them. And if you pay attention and look at the bee, you see the exact same thing. The only difference is that the flies are a little bit smaller in shape and size, but you can see the interaction, the close genetic togetherness between those flies. We're not talking about the ginger fly or the little small fly, fruit flies. We're talking about the big flies that would come out of carcasses. Those are the ones that we're talking about. So there's education now become the key. You see, because since we are trying to alkalize our body, as we said last week, the goal is to have foods that where your pH balance is not too acidic. Because when your pH balance is too acidic, what happens is that your body is now prone to diseases, because acidity is where the disease start to proliferate. In other words, the disease start to grow when you're in an area with too much acidity. That is why we always recommend that you concentrate on foods that are alkaline.
Okay, let me ask you a question. How long does it take a person to alkaline their body once they're in a toxic state?
It depends.
It could vary, but what is the time frame?
It can be a month. It can be even 6 months. Because remember,
depending on how toxic it is.
For example, you change your stomach cells every 3 days. So you can fix your stomach in 3 days. However, your brain doesn't repair itself in 3 days. Neither does your kidney and your heart. So depend on the area in your body that is toxic. See? Because every area takes a long time before your bone marrow and your DNA and RNA rebuild it back to where it's supposed to be.
And the toxic body affects all of the organs.
But it's one body.
Yeah. Right.
I mean, if I take your finger or your hand, it's you.
Right.
When your hand hurt, who hurt? You hurt.
Yes,
if your head hurts, you hurt. If your toe hurt, you hurt.
Right.
It's all part. However, we are duped into thinking that, things are piecemeal. But things are not piecemeal. It's all wholesome. It's holistic. We are one.
So how does one start the process of alkalining their body from being toxic?
This is the first thing. Water.
Okay.
In particular, if you should you get water that is alkaline. That's the first thing. Because water is the #1 cleanser.
Okay.
You may need some herbs to speed up the process. However, the first thing, we spoke last week about Cascara Sagrada. We tell you about the duck flower. We tell you about the corkscrew. Those are just some examples of it. We can tell you about
getting toxins out.
Getting toxin out.
Yeah.
Mandrake, rhubarb, buckthorn, calamus. These are different things that you can combine together or use independently.
As a tea?
As a tea or in capsule form, because modern medicine allow you to have many things that is bitter, because a lot of these things are bitter by taste. And, let's face it, most of us don't want to taste the bitter. So we can get it in capsule.
So we can start with the water.
Water is based on alkaline water.
With what in alkaline water, you start drinking more intake of alkaline water.
When we say alkaline water, the water must be
the pH level.
pH level must be 8 or above.
Okay.
Even though
Fiji
over
water.
7, I wouldn't recommend that. I don't want to push any particular company, but I would not be one that recommend Fiji. So if you're a Fiji or Fuji or any kind of the Fuji's, no, if no Fiji water. We have other options of water that we say is alkaline.
What is another option if we wanted to look for one?
If you want to look for one, get from your spring. Like I said, my goal is not to be a proponent for any particular thing.
Right. Or get the machine.
You can get the alkalizing machine. That's what you can do. A machine that will help to build your pH. Remember, you want the ideal 9.5, but anything above 8, and you will find that spring, a natural spring, will give you alkaline water too.
Oh yeah? Wow.
Any good natural spring. So if you're in an area where you get natural spring or natural spring water, you want to make sure that the manufacturer of that spring water tells you that the pH is, approximately over 8, definitely, but 9.5 is what you recommend. And I'm sorry, but you notice this is in plastic. That's one of the worst things you can put your water in. No disrespect to the DuPont and the manufacturer of plastic. However, try to get your water, if you're getting it from the store, glass is better.
Yeah, but you hardly ever see it in glass.
Yeah, it exists, but as you say, hardly, because everybody get the cheaper way.
The cost. Yeah,
exactly. Least expensive approach.
Right. And I know this plastic has chemicals that seeps into the water.
That's the reason why we are encouraging you to avoid.
Get it out of a stream with some ceramic or something to drink, you know. But so what about if you have the water and you squeeze lime juice in it? Does that help with the detoxifying? Or
yes, because as I said earlier about scurvy and the United Kingdom or England, the vitamin C is something that you need on a daily basis.
Yes.
Because remember, as mammals, you do not manufacture vitamin C. So vitamin C is something that you must take every day. Now,
so we have to put that in.
You have to put that in. Yeah. You know, a good source though is the moringa. For
vitamin C?
Moringa have all the vitamins and minerals you can find.
Wow.
Sea moss, you'll get all of it from the sea moss too. So if you have to choose one thing from the land, we'll say stick with the moringa. And if you have to choose one thing from the ocean, the sea moss. The sea moss. Wow. The phytoplankton is better though.
Wow.
However, most people don't even know what is he talking about when he say phytoplankton. However, the sea moss, being that it's readily available and it's something that's been marketing quite profusely nowadays.
We're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back. Hello, viewers in America and across the world. This is Eric Stevenson, host of the Power Talk show on Millennium News 24. Tune in every week at Sunday, 1 p.m. Eastern Time, American Time, and also on all of your iOS and Android devices. Also, all smart TV and Apple, Amazon, and worldwide through Verizon Satellite. And also worldwide through www.millenniumtvnews.com. And that's www.millenniumnews24.com. And through our social media, Millennium News. See you then.
Yes.
Well, welcome back to Millennium News 24 Power Talk Show. I'm your host, Eric Stevenson. I'm with you. We're continuing here with this great information with Dr. B. And Dr. B, you was talking about also the sea moss. I mean, I know you said the moringa powder or leaf, which is very available right here in America and throughout the world, regardless of where you live, India, the Caribbean, Africa. It's right here in America. You can get tons of it. So the moringa, you said, is high in vitamin C. Right?
High in vitamin C and other vitamins and really runs.
And the sea moss is what? How you know?
Before we go to the sea moss, it's high with all those. However, speaking of water, the seed from the moringa can be placed in the water as part of the purification process.
Okay.
So you go into certain faraway places, and what they'll do, they put 3 or 4 seeds in a gallon of water, and that helps to purify the water and also increase the alkalinity of the water. So you can use the seed from the moringa, or the drumstick, as it's often called, the drumstick seeds, and you apply it.
You take it out the shell?
You put it out the shell, because it's some long shells.
Okay.
And in it, you find the seed. When the shells are dried, then you realize, no, the seeds are there. You open the dried shell and you put those seeds into your water.
Those seeds, you open the shell on the seed too?
Yes.
You put that white little sweet and sour taste.
So when you soak it, it's edible. It's nice as well. Wow. But at the same time, beyond just being tasty, it will help to alkaline and provide some additional.
So that's how we should be drinking our water.
That's the way you're supposed to drink your water.
Yeah. Wow. Something new to learn.
Soak a little moringa, because you're going to get vitamins and minerals from it. At the same time, it's a great way of purifying the water that you have.
Now, the sea moss, it's I know they say it's like 92 minerals in it or more.
Notice I said earlier, if you want to take something from the ocean, the most readily available is the sea moss. Now, you extract, because someone would dive up the sea moss in the ocean and they bring it out. Then they would dehydrate it to cure it, because if you do not dehydrate it, then it's got mold and mildew is going to get on it, and it's going to be toxic.
So you can sun dry it, right?
You sun dry it, and because it already has salt in it, the salt will also help as part of the preservative.
A natural preservative.
A natural preservative.
Sea salt.
The sea salt, the ocean salt. Yeah. So from there now, you have it. All you have to do now is wash it to get rid of some of the salt and also any other debris, feces
parasites
from and whatever the ocean have to offer. You clean it properly, and here comes your vitamin C again.
Wow.
Your lime, because guess what? Any oxidation that the sea moss has on it, the lime will get rid of it, because guess what? Vitamin C is an
so you put in some water and squeeze the vitamin C
you
clean it.
You squeeze the lime in it and you wash it and clean it like that. So it's the sea moss in the water with your vitamin C as the antioxidant and the cleaner.
Wow.
And once you clean it like that, then you can just blend it and have it to drink.
But you don't put it on fire, right? You never.
You can.
Yeah.
There are many of folks who, in fact, I think most people use sea moss by cooking it.
Yeah, but they're saying that the fire
way,
sometimes kills the properties in it.
No, it doesn't kill the properties. It kills the enzymes specifically. And the enzymes is what you need for digestion and proper absorption. So the minerals and the vitamins are going to be there still. But the enzymes is going to be lacking. So that's why we recommend you blend it to enhance the enzymes.
So without cooking it then, put it in some hot water.
You can put in regular room temperature water.
Oh, wow. And it will still fluff up?
It will. Once you soak it in the water, it's going to be rehydrated just like it was in the ocean. Wow. Because remember, all you did was dehydrate it, which means you took the water out.
Gotcha.
And as you take the water out, it's going to shrink.
That's why it fluffs up.
Fluffs up because you rehydrate it again.
Gotcha. Wow. You see, you learn something new every day. And it's not in the natural, information. You walk down the street and someone could tell you, who knows. First, you have to know it and then use it and know how it works. But that's a good point, though. I would definitely take good notice of that, because I like to intake the sea moss.
Sea moss is a great food.
Yeah. Now, I want to ask you something about cancer. A person who we're getting an alarming rate now of women with breast cancer and men with prostate cancers. A lot of development, and it makes sense where it's coming from. A lot is coming from these unprocessed GMO foods, without doubt. These red dyes and all these things. That's now it's an alarming rate where the numbers are getting higher by the day. So some people are saying that they don't want to do chemotherapy. And some have already did chemotherapy and want to withdraw from it because they're losing hair. It's like burning up their cells in their body, they're saying, and they don't feel well. So is there a natural approach that they could look into without doing chemotherapy?
There is. There's always an holistic approach. For example, if you notice today, there's a lot of CBD. It's a big thing, which is extract oils from the marijuana plant, something that was outlawed for a good 100 years, but today it is back in the business. And the CBD will help, in particular if you get the pure CBD.
Yeah, that's the problem now.
The pure CBD.
Yeah, they could be able to get that,
However, for individuals who are on chemotherapy, there is a sea buckthorn berry oil that you can use. That what the sea buckthorn berry oil does, it fortifies the system to prevent many of the adverse effects of the chemotherapy. So if you find that you're nauseous all the time, you find that you're getting a lot of you're losing your hair and all these kind of things, then the sea buckthorn or the sea buckthorn berry oil is something that you can supplement with to help to slow down that retardation.
That's something. Now, moving forward, like we talked about to some extent about diabetes last week, which makes sense. You talked about the berberine, I think. Berberine. Yeah. But there's a berberine that you said is good for the eyesight.
Yes, that's
with the berberine. Yeah, you said this herb is it's good for those who's out there who may be diabetic, which so many of us are. The berberine is what it was, not the berberine. The berberine, you said, is good for eyesight.
That's for eyesight. So vision issues. If you have a problem with your vision, then you're going to use the berberine. But the Berberine.
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 Yeah,
Berberine
berberine,
is what you would take internally to.
And they have it in capsule form.
It's
too, right?
available in capsule form.
And the berberine.
Both are available in
Okay.
capsule because you see, it's modernization.
Yeah.
And many of us the term we use is fenke. In other words, we are timid to take something that is
bitter or unusual to the American diet. American diet, everything has to have sugar. You ever notice that? Everything in American diet, they always want to include sugar. And this is the reason why we have to go use berberine and berberine now too. So that's good. So we got a little focus on cancer. So we know what to do. There is hope to fight the adverse effects of chemotherapy.
Remember, as we started out with the B17. Remember, the B17 will fortify you from cancer. It and the B15. So instead of being a victim, why not prevent? Because, there's a whole adage that prevention is better than cure. And because prevention is better than cure, we implore you then to start doing the necessary thing. Change your lifestyle. Start using the things that will fortify you against cancer. And in turn, take away yourself from the things that are known to be carcinogen. Things that are known to be a cause of cancer. The herbicides, the pesticides, the genetically modified. These are the things you want to stay away from to make yourself not a victim. Because again, it's always best because you have the choice in today's world to do so many different things that will fortify you. And as you said earlier, the CMOS is a good fortification because it gives you the vitamin, the mineral, as well as the moringa is another good fortification.
The meringue, yes. How about berries, mixed berries like blueberry?
Mixed berries are fine.
Okay.
Acai berry, very potent. Goji berry, very potent. Nisberry, very potent. You also have the blackberry.
The blackberry.
The blueberry.
Yes.
The strawberry. However, stay away from the cranberry.
Wow.
Even though you will find a whole host of cranberry juice, a whole host of cranberry all over the place, you try to limit or eliminate that usage of the cranberry simply because, again, we're talking about pH. You want to stick with the things that are more alkaline.
So that's a low pH cranberry?
Low pH.
Oh, wow.
Which means acidic. Because the scale is from 1 to 14. 7 is neutral. Anything below 7 is acidic. Anything above 7 is alkaline. Now, you want not to be 7.1. Even though it's alkaline, you still need to go a little bit above that.
You probably want to jump to 8.5.
8.5, 9.5 is fine. And if you're sick, then you're going to need to take even more alkalinity to bring back yourself to the alkaline.
So what line you would probably, if you're sick, you would probably want to go up to what, 11, 12?
No.
That's too high.
That's way too high.
Okay.
10 max.
I said max. Okay.
Stay at 10 and you go below that.
Is there any reference charts that we can refer to at what foods or what pH levels? Do they have any books or reading materials you can recommend?
You do have different books that are available, and if you go online, you will find pH balance of food. So you just Google pH balance or any other. I don't want you to be then a slave to Google. Whatever search engine you choose to use, because Google is just one of the many search engines. So if you use your search engine, go in and then you search for alkaline food. And what I always recommend that you do, cross-reference it. So you get different sources of alkalinity. And many times you will find that each person is giving you a different list. What you're going to do now, your homework is to choose where there is consistency. Because you'll find certain food that is consistently alkaline, irrespective of the source. Those are the ones you see.
How about pineapple and mango? Are they high?
Pineapple is acidic. Mango is alkaline. Mango is very good.
Okay.
You see, but pineapple can be problematic.
Okay.
But again, we tell you about the watermelon. Watermelon is good. You're speaking of berries. All those berries should be eaten together. And banana, because you speak of berries, banana is also a berry, you know. You may not.
Is it alkaline?
Yes.
Okay.
Especially if you get the berry, the group banana, they make a small tumper looking banana, looking like a thumb. Those, yes, they're available at the L shop and even some of the greengrocers in the Spanish community. That you'll find, or even in the Asiatic community as well, you'll find the burro bananas. Those are alkaline as well. However, banana, generally speaking, are berry. So if you can mix your strawberry, your blueberry, your blackberry, your elderberries, all them together with your banana, and it won't be a problem. However, do not mix your berries with mangoes. Do not mix your berries with melons. Do not mix your berry with anything outside of the family, because for one, berry bruise very easily, and berry will have a lot of molds on them. So when you're purchasing your berries, please look carefully to make sure that your berry is not bruised.
Not bruised.
Yes.
We're going to take a break and return right back. Hold your seat. Hello, viewers in America and across the world. This is Eric Stevenson, host of the Power Talk show on Millennium News 24. Tune in every week at Sunday, 1 p.m. Eastern Time, American Time, and also on all of your iOS and Android devices. Also on Smart TV and Apple, Amazon, and worldwide through Verizon Satellite. And also worldwide through www.millenniumtvnews.com. And that's www.millenniumnews24.com. And through our social media, Millennium News. See you there. Welcome back to Millennium News 24 Power Talk. I'm your host, Eric Stevenson, and we're here with Dr. B, and we're continuing on this path of good health information. Doctor, just to piggyback on what you talked about with the bananas.
Why it have to be piggyback? It couldn't be any other back.
Oh, yeah, right. Let's not go to piggyback. How about horseback?
We will work with horseback.
Better than piggyback.
A lion back.
Yeah, even better. Even better, the king. So let's go back on the banana issue. Now, you was talking about these small bananas.
The burro banana.
The burro banana that you can mix with these berries. And I'm like, if you can't find these burro bananas, or for those who may not be able to come across it, could we substitute with the regular banana that we have?
Absolutely. Yeah. You can use Lacatan, you can use Gros Michel, you can use other bananas as well. Because first of all, remember, bananas are berries, but bananas are often called figs. When you hear in books and religious scrolls, they talk about figs. They were talking about banana, because banana is one of the fig family as well. So you want to make sure now you do not cross that with other things, because it will sit on your stomach. But banana is one of those foods you can't really live on bananas, if you're in a desolate place and you want to survive, banana is one of those survival food, one of those survival berries. You can have it green. You can use it to make cereal. You can make banana flour. You can make banana porridge. You can blend banana and drink it. You can just eat it ripe. In fact, when you look at the skin of the banana, the inside portion, when you peel the banana,
like
inside,
that stringy part.
Yes, that is an aphrodisiac. Wow. So if you find that, you are impotent, you want to scrape that inside portion, and you can mix it with a little thinking tool, which is a locust, and you can mix it with a little maple syrup or some
molasses?
Wild, not so much molasses, some wild sweeteners.
Okay. Stevia?
Stevia, yes, stevia again. It would be a sweetener. It's a leaf look almost like a mint. If you know what mint leaves look like, that's what stevia looks like.
Now, is that a
And
good
it's
alternative to definitely a good
diabetes.
alternative to
Yes.
and definitely white sugar is off the table.
It's white sugar is off the table, but
Yeah.
stevia would be primarily because of the low glycemic index.
Okay.
You know, of the stevia, you want to use it if you have a blood sugar problem. In other words, if you're diabetic, it's way better than the cactus that we know as agave, simply because of the process.
Okay.
I don't know if they start producing the agave in a healthier way, but when I last checked, the process of the blue agave or the agave, generally speaking, would be problematic because of the toxicity in the processing. If you get the cactus itself, because the agave is a cactus, you know what I mean? So you want to get it where it's properly processed. That is why we say, get yourself the stevia, because the stevia, the monk fruit is also something that you can get, because the monk fruit is very, very sweet. You can use also the donkey tamarind. You see, those are other things that are sweet naturally.
How about the tuna leaf?
The tuna is fine, but the tuna is not sweet. The tuna is a good thing for the diabetes as well. But it's not really, you would not use the tuna.
And how about the bitter melon? Is that good for diabetes?
Bitter melon is very good. We spoke about it last week.
Yes.
The bitter melon is what is known in Jamaica as the cerasee. So
It's the same thing?
Same thing.
Wow.
Bitter melon, cerasee. 6 of one, half a dozen the other.
Okay.
So that bitter melon would then be used because, again, the bitter will help to kill the parasite in the pancreas that is contributing to the elevation of the blood sugar.
Wow. Look at this. All our medicines is in the natural herbs and trees and bush of the earth, like the scriptures say.
But remember, there is no medicine that came from the moon,
That's cool.
or Venus, or Mars, or Jupiter, or any of these galactic planets. All things come from the soil. It's just that it's manipulated into different chemicals, and sometimes because it's isolated and there is nothing for it to function with synergistically or harmonious to the body, it becomes toxic because it's too concentrated. That's all. Because, for example, you have white willow bark. White willow bark that's what make aspirin. So you can drink some white willow bark
for headache.
For headache, or if you have the thin blood thinner as well.
Wow.
You see, white willow bark. So, however, if you're taking aspirin and then you're going to be drinking white willow bark at the same time, you may be running the risk that your blood become too thin. So you're going to talk with your primary physician and let he or she knows that, listen, I am taking some white willow bark, so that they can make the adjustment with your intake of whatever you're taking, whether it's heparin, coumadin, or aspirin.
Right. It's so much to learn, and but the good part of it all is knowing that there is information. It's a reality that there is things out there as an alternative, and as a better alternative, if you ask me, to use something of the soil of the earth that's natural there, naturally grown, not a hybrid that's man created, as we learn.
That's a misconception. What is the alternative? How can something that existed originally be the alternative? Wouldn't it be the new thing that is introduced to us?
Yeah, we're using the alternative. We should go back to the original.
Go back to the original.
You're right. Good correction. But mainstream people, and I don't want to go into all the philosophies and all, but we all know truth and facts of what's going on with the system because of the medical system, how people are sick and ill. And that's why Kennedy's talking about coming in with a revolutionary platform and policy to try to rid of these sicknesses and all these things that's causing all these illnesses for American people, and to rid them out of our supermarkets and off the market. I yet to see it done, but let's see what's going to happen. But the knowledge, whether he does it or whether the government does it or not, we have to do it for ourselves, and cannot rely on government to do for us what we should do for ourselves. They may never come tell you what Dr. B say. They may never come tell you what you're hearing on this show today, but we could do for ourselves. We could study. We could use the server. We could Google, Safari, whatever, and look and research and get this information.
You want to take your children to the outdoors. You want to take them to the apple picking farm, the berries farm, etc. Because in this society here, we look at food in the supermarket on shelves. That's packaged stuff. That's processed stuff.
Yeah.
We don't understand that foods in its holistic way have to be grown on a tree, and we don't know how it's grown. So most of the time we go to the greengrocer, we walk past the fruit and vegetable stand, and we go buy a can of beans or a can of berries or a can of something that is basically denatured and dead, sitting in the can for a whole ever long.
Yeah, that's
what we
that's
So
horrible.
the young people need to know that food grows.
But you just made a good point, Doctor, when you said take your children to the apple picking or berry picking farm. Yeah. If you don't do this and get them incorporated into liking and to eat these things while they're young, then they're going to be reared into what you just said about this processed foods and starting off at a young age on the wrong track.
That is correct.
So it's important that you teach the younger being taught proper foods and eating of foods from a young age.
And it not only the eating portion, psychologically speaking too, it helps to purify your mind, both yourself, and it's a way to bond with your children. So your children is now learning, wow, I pick me my own berries. And you can look in the eyes of these youngsters, oh, ecstatic they are when they realize they just pick their own food. That is something that within our family, within our network of people, we are encouraging you. And this is something that all nation can do, irrespective of the skin that you're in.
And go back to our gardening and agriculture, that we're growing our foods ourselves,
Exactly.
And controlling that. We know we're not putting pesticides on our foods. We know we could grow watermelons with seeds, because my father, I remember we used to do it because we used to have to pick them, and we would grow tons of watermelon.
Right.
And that's what we have to get back to, because if they're not selling it for us to buy it, then we shouldn't have to worry. We should be growing anyway.
Back to nature, back to Netaro, back to the root, the source of where things were, because we realized that this experimentation that the planet has been on is a failed experiment. So let's get back to
there's a new thing that's out, but it's old, but they're making a big thing on the market now. Silogit. I know you heard of that.
What's that?
Silogit.
What's that?
It's like a mushroom paste. They say it's on the market. It's supposed to be for energy. And
oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, but you see, again, it's another process approach, because where we come from, we look at mushroom as junjo. Toxic, because there's so much different.
They always say it's poisonous,
but there's a lot of them that is poisonous.
Yes, it's true.
But so man start make the distinction between a mushroom that is more toxic than the other and the one that is not nearly as toxic. We start eating them because it's just a matter of judgment now, knowing whatever. But normally we look at them, because if you go into a swampy area where there's a lot of rainfall, a lot of moisture, you see a lot of mushrooms growing naturally from the soil. However, if you to try some of those, we are going to come to your night, your wake, or your funeral.
Yeah, they are toxins and poisons, and they will do that to you. We're definitely.
However, though, you have mushroom that grow on the soil, but you have mushroom that grows on the tree. You have the chaga mushroom, one of the best form of mushroom that you can have. Chaga mushroom, it grows on the
tree,
the bark of
I've seen
birch tree in particular.
Birch tree, okay.
And when you go and you take that and you check the nutritional content of the chaga mushroom, it is far superior to the other. There's a lion mane as well.
Lion mane. Those
then would be tested and proven to be more beneficial towards human consumption.
I got you. Yeah, I heard of the lion mane. Yes. So, there we have it. So much information, such a little time for such a big subject. I guess this is something we could talk about for years. That's how broad the knowledge is. So we're gonna have to wrap it up because we're out of time. But I hope you digest what you heard today and incorporate it in our lives, do our research, and let's try to do better in how we eat and what we eat and where we eat from. So Dr. B, I thank you for being here again. I guess at another time we could probably get around 3, 4. It would be depending on your schedule and how we could get it done. But we thank you for being here. And I'm sure the viewers I'm sure the viewers all appreciate you for being here. And we thank you. Thank you all for tuning in to Millennium News 24 Power Talk. I'm your host, Eric Stevenson, and we look forward to the next show. Thank you all.
Walk good.
Yes, and eat good, and talk good, think good.